Don't mind me. I'm just pulling shit up. Is this good? Wait a second. Ooh, Justice, what's up? I know I'm just like pulling up stuff from my... Oh, this one's a good one. I'm just pulling up old stuff just so I can explain my background somewhat. Cause, alright, yeah, I'm just gonna ramble off. People come in, like watch and watch. That's cool beans. But the point of this live stream is basically to give me enough content to create like a VOD where I explain how you wanna, you know, you look at someone else's drawing, you're like, oh shit, I wanna do that. That's what you're, and this is the stuff you're going to need to know. Oh, okay, I got my sketchbooks. I'm good, thanks for asking. I just woke up and I had breakfast. It's Korean time, so it's like 12. Okay, maybe I didn't just wake. I woke up 3 hours ago, but I was kind of in like awake purgatory where you're on your bed and you're just kind of chilling. Alright. Might be better to pull up some of my portfolio work too. Just so you guys know that you aren't getting art advice from someone who doesn't know what he's doing. Although I am an artist who doesn't know what he's doing. But you know, I have seen, although just a little bit of results, they are results nonetheless. So, alright, what's good, crew? I'm trying to find a good scene for the internet. Hey, there we go. It's good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I hope you are enjoying yourself. I'm just going to quickly, you know, just see how this art tests or this art tip stream goes, and if I'm able to get a lot of content out of it, or a lot of people end up liking it, I might do something else. Maybe something a little bit broader, something as strict as art style might be a little bit difficult to consume for people who, like, at the very base, never art. So we're just gonna keep trying that stuff, right? I do not have a script for this. I'm just gonna talk out of my own ass. However, I am told oftentimes I am decent at articulating feelings, so I'm just gonna hope that shit carries me out through to the end, cause I know without a doubt I'm probably gonna stutter a lot, but you know, I think if I try just a little bit harder, I'll be able to kind of seem more formulaic in the way I make my words, and hopefully that doesn't make me sound like I'm just rambling. Okay, so let's just get stuff out of the way, like the introduction. I am pretty new to the whole streaming game, so wait a second. I put my tablet on top of my desk, so it's going to be like weird, I guess, if you just hear my voice with like Jesus and Johnny dancing in the background. At least you have the company. Oh shit. At least you have the company on my hands now, alright? Watch. Ooh, fancy. I'll probably let some people on Instagram know that I'm streaming. But yeah, we're just gonna do a couple fun stuff today. Style breakdown is mostly on the schedule, but if we can end up doing something else, then that'd be pretty hot too. So we're just gonna keep trying, see what happens today. All right, I'm gonna get one thing done, and we're just gonna go straight for it. All right, so assuming you have decided to click on this video for whatever reason, whether you know me somehow or you saw the title and you were like, oh shit, I'm sitting at home doing nothing. I figured that I want to learn how to draw good. But I can't because all the things that I draw don't connect well, and I'm big sad. All right, well, we're going to get past that roadblock. I guarantee you. Drawing, okay, it kind of hard, okay? It kind of hard. Let's not take away all the artist's credit, but with enough work and just basic enough mental foundation, I think that as long as you have it in your head, like you know what to do, then once you actually start executing it with your hands, you'll know whether or not you feel like displeased about it 100%. And I think that's more important than asking yourself like, is this right? Or asking other people like, oh, is this right? Like constantly. I guess that's fine. That's a fine thing to do, but it's important to realize no one's going to be there for you 100% of the time, all right? One day you're gonna freaking crash on a plane miraculously. You're going to be the only one who falls through the back entrance because nobody else wanted to go there. You're going to fall into an island all by yourself, and you're going to be like, okay, at the very least, if I'm going to die, I might as well do it drawing sexy, alright? So that's what this stream is for. The fuck? Alright, enough with that out of the way. Now, before I help you enjoy the last seconds of your life drawing whatever it is, whether you're into just regular still life, traditional, or you know, I know a lot of you fucking weeaboos out there like doing those fucking big tits, huge ass thighs and shit. I'll teach you how to draw that too. You know why? Because it doesn't matter what kind of artist you are. If you're an artist, we vibe, right? So before you keep going, you're like, hey, how am I supposed to... Wait, I already said that. Basically, what I'm telling you is, I want to be the survival guide, the Bear Grylls, on if you're ever in the island and you're thinking about just dying while drawing, what is the best, you know, what do you need to have in your essential kit to help you draw that magnum opus before the expiration of your life? And so, you know, in order to listen to Bear Grylls, you gotta know that I am Bear Grylls. I'm not, okay, I'm still pretty young. There's a lot of other resources that you can use, honestly, if I'm being frank. From artists who have actually been in the industry, and you're right now, I'll be as transparent as I possibly can. You're listening to a guy who is bored at home, wants to do something. Oh shit, I hit the mic. Oh, that might be loud. No, but that's, come, you don't understand. That's how it's supposed to be, bro. That's how it's supposed to be. Alright. But let's just get this out of the way. Who am I, right? Why do I want to listen to this loser's hand? Not even a guy, it's just like a hand, right? Just like a hand who's waving at you. Wait, let me pull that camera in front so you can get a good grasp of the size of my hand. Alright, anyway, that was a fun little pass. But yeah, let me show you a bit of my work so hopefully you kind of build a little bit of trust in me. I am a traditional painter, or I used to be a traditional painter going digital. I'm still in the process. I'll show you my digital works obviously, but what I have previously done a lot, or so all these artworks have been done for the purpose of building my high school portfolio in the hopes that I can go to a art school or for college. And I am currently going to art school and college, although the Korean military has kind of pushed me away from that path currently. But it's not something that I'm not going to do, it's just something that I have strayed from temporarily, okay? I'm pretty sure I can do this layout a little bit better. Let's just hide this and let's just hide the camera so we can get Jesus and Johnny in the picture. But yeah, there has to be a better way I can do this. Alright, give me a second, I'm gonna organize my desk. But as I organize, I want to just talk. But I'm sure a lot of people who, or based off of the statistics from my Instagram account and my YouTube and Twitch, a lot of you guys are the same age as me, which is kind of funny. So, you know, we're kind of at that same progress of life currently. Just a young guy trying to look for some jobs and just currently getting experience. All right, I figure it'd be a lot easier to talk or to kind of communicate with me once you see, you know, something moving in the camera. So, should we make it blue? Oh no, that just looks like a hospital. All right, color theory. Hey, I want to get a cute little plushie. All right, perfect. This will do. Uh-oh. Wait a second. Okay, cool. I'm just going to keep this in my hand while I talk. Yeah, you know what? Because why not? We're just going to do this as a visual representation of my tips. So, as I was saying, I am fully traditional. Currently on the transition from traditional to digital. I'll flex that sexy ass keyboard. But I want to show you this work because I think it's a very good way of demonstrating kind of what my artist style is. And that's the topic for today's stream, artist style. So, yeah, I hope just bringing up my own art will help you understand my own style. And I want to try to explain what quote-unquote makes style and how you, as you keep drawing, looking at other people's references and such, because without a doubt, you're going to end up kind of, a lot of people have this worry, it's like, no, if I copy from I'm not going to use, do I have a freaking, alright, we're going to use Big Bird for this. Alright, this is you, alright, this is you. Actually, you're pretty swaggy, I'll give you that. You got drip, but, oh, I can't draw because I feel like if I look at a lot of online pictures, I think that I'm going to end up copying them, and it's going to be like, I'm going to be very unoriginal. Actually, the sad truth is a lot of people don't tell themselves that. And I'm gonna be frank, you get a lot of work that looks like a lot of other people's work and you're like, oh, this guy is a shadow of the original artist. But you are going to be your original you are going to be the original driver for your own art. We're only going to use other artists as you know, step ladders to help us get to that top, right? So I want to teach you how to develop your own style right now in this stream. Maybe not exactly right now, you know what I mean. Here's my style. This is all work that I did when I was in 7th. I think I started art at 7th grade. 7th grade going into 12th grade, or yeah, a lot of like the last traditional piece I did was in college, but in this folder it is 12th grade. So we're just gonna say this is my 7th to 12th grade phase. As you can see, there's like a lot of basic beginner flaws, like lack of dynamic value. However, drink of my honey coffee right here. It's called honey coffee. It's very good. Okay, I should probably space this out so you see it. Look at it. It's so cool. I'm gonna probably just move this down here instead. You want a drink? I know you want this drink. I know you want it. Ooh. On the surface, it looks calm and ready. But underneath, it's got like a nice honey flavor and 2 shots of coffee. And that's exactly what I need, honestly. So, it won't get knocked over. This is pretty close to, you know, the center of the table. We're good, we're good. And make a terrible mess. Okay, nah. Dude, the fucking librarians only told you not to drink food and eat drink. Fuck. In the computer lab because y'all were irresponsible kids. But although I'm a little bit shaky, I'm not a kid anymore. I can manage my own coffee on top of my keyboard. Whoops. What a waste of $500. But let me just explain my background, right? I'm trying to be the Bear Grylls to your journey, and you gotta know that I got what it takes so I can teach you that you can learn what it takes. Fuck, alright, whatever. That's how it works. A lot of what I like to draw is of the quote-unquote imaginary. That's why in a lot of these pieces, as I scroll through, you're going to be looking at a lot of contrasting elements. So I'll always define a subject through whatever means, and I'll always contrast it with a different concept of art. I know I'm talking out of my own ass here. Really, it sounds like that. But I'm an artist. I'm supposed to. I get paid, dude. Like I can draw a stick figure right now, and as long as I can explain why the girthiness of the body texture is a commentary on Greek, on like, I don't know, fucking the male body, I can sell it to you. And that's what I'm doing right now. It's just that I put a little bit more effort into these pictures instead of just basic stick figure drawings that you do on like a receipt or the fucking IHOP crayon thing. I don't know why I remember that. I'm in a completely different country now. Alright, but yeah, anyway, let's just get into the nitty-gritty. Hopefully what I'm saying seems more genuine than how it seems in my head, because I'm gonna be frank. I kinda know the shit that goes on in like the freaking artist world. So I happen to be a little bit self-conscious about it, but regardless, what sells, right? As I was saying, concept contrasted with a different concept. The main concept here is, or I guess you could say that the main concept of all my pictures is that I contrast like a different concept. So first concept, we're just going to divide it into first concept, second concept, and then overall concept. Because in my opinion, meaning is derived from contrast. For these pictures at least. Maybe not in general. So the first, what did I say? The first concept is the pencil drawing at the bottom. It's kind of like a, you know, city. And then the second concept I have is you suddenly see a bunch of color. You're out of the grayscale. You also see a couple of lights here. And you see a giant ass fucking hand. You're like, hey, I ain't ever seen no building that looks like this. Do you see my cursor, by the way? Okay, my cursor's there. You're like, I ain't see no shit looking like this. But the reason I have this concept is because I want to teach, which is number 3, the overall concept, which is that the hand's kind of coming from the city, the black and white city, saying we're reaching towards the sky. Although we're not there yet, we will make it to the top. Although I'm gonna be frank, I don't know why I did the eye here. I intentionally did an eye, but a good artist, a good early, what do you say? A good way to tell whether someone's like a very beginner artist and trying to create meaning out of their paintings is if they add a lot of like eyes and shit, because they're like, oh, eyes are so mysterious. It's very, oh wow, you can see the eye because it means knowledge, or some bullshit like that. This was literally just a study for charcoal. I admittedly should have done better with the values here, but you know, just this one's just practice. But it got added as officially one of my portfolio pieces, because when you're applying for college, you always want to just demonstrate that technical ability. So for me, my drive, although I have that driving force of the artist, if I don't have what it takes to actually execute it, then, you know, who's gonna accept me or who's gonna hire me, or like all that stuff. So I have some pieces that are just made solely for the fact of demonstrating my technical ability. I got a bone to pick with you. It's sand. Okay. So once again, we're gonna go for the 3 concept thing that I have just made for myself in this live stream. The first concept is I literally just drew my studio, except ignore the windows here. It's just a plain old city in real life, because I'm in Korea right now, and you know, I don't exactly have a beach studio, although that would be quite nice. But the second concept here is that you have all of this, right? You kind of just have feelings of the outdoor, and then all of a sudden you have this water in the painting coming out and fill in this water bucket. And now what's the meaning of it? It's just a lot of what you'll see in these later drawings is that a lot of my drawings actually kind of represent bolder imagination from still life. So I've spent 5 years? I spent a good 5 years, and I'd spend it inside of a studio. Right here. Spent it inside of a studio it can range from, regularly it's from like 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock, so that'd be 5 hours. But on the weekends it would be from 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 12 hours, or 13 sometimes. I did 13 towards the end of my, or towards the peak of the college admissions time. So I spent a good large chunk of my life just inside of a like a singular space. And you can understand how that could make someone, you know, I like art, but the lack of change in scenery can kind of make you go insane. So I also feel this a lot, just not even in my general studio life, but also in my general life as well. Like, frankly, that is due to the fact that I'm like a very at-home kind of guy, but at the same time, like, the reason why I can feel okay staying at home and not going to like Italy every single freaking summer or something is that I have like a very, I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of when have you ever looked outside of your car, you're driving like, and then you get bored as fuck, so you're looking at all the buildings that are quickly passing by you, so you kind of get your hand, you start doing like the freaking guy who's running on top of the buildings that are jumping over. That's kind of what I do, but in like a more complex scale. So if you can see, like no one would imagine that, like, you know, water would actually come out of the canvas. What, you didn't do that? No, there's no way that's just me, bro. There's no way. Everyone did that in 5th grade or like a long time ago. They would just like, unless, it depends on where you live, I guess. But dude, in Houston, I did this shit all the time. Like, you would just drive, like you would just be driving, right? And then like you're in the back of the car, you're like, oh, I'm bored as fuck. So you get your hand, you're like running on top of you, like Sonic. But can you like, not even you literally get your hand. Sometimes you just look outside and you just imagine stuff, right? You just imagine someone running across the freaking field or on top of the buildings. How is this alarming? Dude, this is basic child imagination. What else is there? You know, just when you're sitting in like a waiting room of like a hospital and suddenly stuff starts like moving in and out, weaving, like just going, you know, just doing shit. And that's another big part of like imagination. that really inspires my art style journey. Hey Kuro, we are teaching the art babies how to art good, and apparently, okay, wait, tell me you haven't done this before. I'm bringing this shit back. Tell me you haven't done this before. When you're in a car, right? You were 5th grade, and you were in a car with your mom and dad driving in the front, and you were bored as shit, right? So you were like, oh my, I didn't have a phone at the time. My DS is at home. They didn't let me bring it to the hospital. What am I going to do? So you see like the freaking, is it already been 30 minutes? All right, wait, I have to change the music. We're gonna change the music to 12 a.m. from Animal Crossing. So you're driving, right? And the landscape is just moving super fucking fast. And then you're just like, oh dude, you know what'd be crazy? If someone was like running. So like I'd always get my hand on, I'd always like run on top of the buildings or like in the fields. Dude, OG shit. And that's kind of, yeah, see, no dude, Gummy, you're the weird one. You're the weird one, bro. You're the weird one. Dude, you're sniffing. Dude, we are eating beans. You are sniffing glue. That is the difference between us. Alright, anyway, let's keep going. That's what inspires a majority of my art style. Yeah, you know what? Go, you can go ahead and leave, bro. You can go sniff that glue from the back of the art class. Alright. Anyway. You got the same concept here. Oh yeah, I know that what is it? I know, Kira, you might have came later, but I kind of divided my art style. So basically in the stream, I want to explain what art style is, how you can recognize that you have your own art style and how you can achieve it. My art style, I like to give a basic definition by first concept, second concept, and overall concept. The reason why I have it into 3 concepts is because I have 2 things. One is like the basic rule, and the second thing is the contrast, and the third thing is the meaning from that contrast. Oh dude, that was a, oh shoot, that was a psychology, that was a concept in psychology that I learned in college, but I forgot it already because I haven't been in school for a while because of Korean military. Pog. But first concept for here is like the right side is like regular ass woods. Although you do have like the eyes kind of like staring about. And then the second concept is you got like the purple world on the left side. Line weight. Oh, right. Yeah, I'll get into that too. Like a lot of people kind of see like, or let's see. I know a good artist I want to demonstrate this with. So this is the artist from a gacha game that I really like. I just like Fire Emblem. I'll pull this up. But alright. Look at the lines. I feel like with a lot of art, you can kind of define, you know, get this and contrast it with something like Sam Does Art. Like I feel like he's a very easy reference to defining style, but look, notice how you hardly tell like that there is line art, if that makes sense. But the reason for that, hopefully I'll get into that later on to the stream, but I will target that concept. But if you want the freaking appetizer to the main course, basically, in my opinion, what defines art style is one's, like how one perceives the world, just physically, and how one chooses to interpret the world. So if you can look at something and be like, oh, look at this togepi, I only see like thick lines around it. Or, you know, style often doesn't even go that deep. It often is just like, oh, what's technically like easier to do. But I think that's style. Like, I look at this thing and I'm like, okay, I'm dividing it into like, this is just a giant, if you describe it as like a giant shape, it's easier oftentimes that you'll have like a stroke on the outside. And so when someone draws it on like a canvas, they'll, you know, have the lines out there. While other people oftentimes look at this and they're just like, okay, so it's just a yellow shape. So if someone's able to divide something into like different colors and like different shapes of colors of like a overall, you know, composition like this, then although you might see lines for like sketches and stuff, I think in the final product you're more likely to not see the line art. So a lot of my paintings you'll see like you won't be able to, or okay, this is different. But yeah, maybe for something like this, like, or wait, no, this is not different, much different at all. The reason why I made this piece is also because like I want to be a graphic designer. You know, there's like a stigma for artists not making enough money, and kind of want to make that money. So I think that in the future, I would like to, you know, illustrate, but also just be a graphic designer for the sake of putting food in my own mouth. Oh, Kim Jong, yeah, okay. I want to show this guy's art right now. Dude, this guy, goated. Kim Jong is a good example of unique art style, but without color. Right, so, the way he chooses to look at the world and with references is he uses lines as a way to communicate how he interprets shadows, right? That's why it's very, I think that hypothesis, let me slow down. I think that hypothesis is most easily explained once you kind of explore around the art and you're like, oh, there's a lot of contrast and there's a lot of like emphasis on values. Then it's just more obvious to think that like, oh, the world that he sees when he theoretically looks at a reference is he takes a look at the shadow and then he'll probably sketch a lot of it with you know, just a lot of lines, just make that area dark compared to other places. That's the way that I interpret art style. Alright, let's just skim past through this a little bit faster because I've been rambling at this for like 40 minutes. Doesn't use a reference a lot of the time because he's built up a large visual library. Yeah, see, that's also a very good way to differentiate beginner artists or like people who do art and people who have been in the industry, like people who live and breathe art. It's by experience, and the best way you can tell someone has better experience than someone else is when they quote unquote draw from imagination, which if you're watching this, you draw from imagination, you haven't arted for at least like, you know, let's just say a lot of people when they draw from imagination it tends to look a little bit weird and they ask themselves, why does it look weird? It's because you haven't looked at real life. And Kim Jong-gi is frankly pretty old, so he knows a lot of the world and he's noticed more things about the world than people like you and I have, or at least, okay, most of my audience is 20, so I'm gonna assume that you guys are all 20 years old. Yeah, we only have 20 years of experience thus far, and 10 of those years we were hardly like freaking cognitive. Or for my case, like I can hardly remember my life before I was 14. So, you know, although I can draw a bunch of stuff, just like from reference, that kind of puts emphasis on my technical ability. I wouldn't be able to do this by, you know, imagination. I would need to, like, I've been to this cafe a couple more times, so like maybe I'd do a lot better than when I drew this when I was in 8th grade. But still, I'm still, you know, although I am trying to teach people online, I'm still pretty freaking art fetus, dude. So it's gonna take me some time. It's also gonna take you some time too. So if you're just trying to get into art and you're frustrated that things aren't going, just look at the world. That's all you need to do. That's the only kind of grinding in this art. Or okay, maybe like you got technical skill, but that is also a factor which increases with time. Experience, time, or yeah, experience and time. Experience with the world goes up with time. Experience with drawing goes up with time. You can't rush it. If you rush it, you're going to give up very soon. And in my opinion, I think the only difference between a good artist and a bad artist is a bad artist chooses to use the excuse that, oh, other people are just more talented and they give up. They are glue sniffers, bro. Alright? We're a community that consumes beans, bro. We eat beans, alright? And the only way you're going to be able to eat a lot of beans is if you give it time. You get your art skill, you just put it into like the freaking hyperbolic time chamber, and you're just like, I'm gonna let this shit grow. And you take it back, you draw stuff, you eat a lot of beans. When I was in America, I ate a lot of beans. The reason for that is because beans are very good, they're very high in protein. And I just found that eating beans was, you know, a little bit easier than, you know, having to grill steak all the day. But that's besides the point, alright? So, now you kind of get my style, right? I kind of like to communicate stuff with contrast. I am a painter mostly. Alright. Next phase of my life, I buy a tablet, right? So, here we go. Just put this right over here. Yeah, it's cool. Alright, so the next phase of my life, I buy the tablet. Now, I'm looking at it. I've always, like, let me just make this clear. I've always wanted a digital tablet when I was younger. And, like, especially one with, like, a freaking screen. And then, in 2020, I believe, my dad got it for me as a birthday present. And I was like, Pog? Actually, I think I'll just put this down over here because I want to remain organized. So, let me just be really frank about this. Digital art and traditional art, if you're good at one, you might learn faster and it might help you get into the groove for the other, but they're completely different. You will never be good at traditional art, pick up a digital pen and be like, oh, I know exactly what to do. Never. Never, ever, ever. So you shouldn't blame yourself if you can't get into it, because I certainly did, and I was wasting a lot of my time just kind of being very iffy about like the digital tablet. You gotta learn the digital tablet like you learn acrylic paint. It's just a skill, alright? And also, buy a glove, otherwise you're not a digital artist. So, let me get my first ever digital painting. I wanna give you guys a little bit of a secret peek, because I know damn well I ain't ever gonna show this to anyone else. Oh, should I show some of the character art that I've done before, like, before I got a digital tablet? Because I'm gonna be making this clear. I've always been doing character illustrations, because, you know, I've loved character illustrations for as long as I can remember. Now, whether or not I decide to make that as like my job, I think it's better relegated as like a hobby, because it's gonna be really hard to sustain myself with it. But regardless, I think it's very fun. There we go. My first ever digital painting. Alright, now first of all, what instantly pops up is oh, some of the background is peeking out into the character. That's not good. That's just a sign of me just using magic wand and being like, oh, fill in the spaces, let's go. Digital art is so easy. Art does everything for you. But no, it's not how that works. Also over here, it's a little bit clunky on areas. What else? Oh, it's like a freaking... This shit looked like a tasty ass, like, I don't know, Godiva chocolate bar, bro. I think... And also, look at the overexposure over here, the fucking Pinocchio kaiji ass nose. Okay, so the reason why I'm deconstructing my artwork this hard is because that's how you get better, you know? You gotta look at it, you gotta be like, what the hell? And then you gotta keep going, you just gotta keep grinding. So, these are a bit of my earlier studies with like the digital tablet, because at that point I was like, wow, I'm pretty ass. So I've been kind of experimenting, like, what's the best possible way? Oh, like, what's the best way I can get better faster? And it's just like, oh, you gotta learn from your mistakes. Okay, but where are my mistakes? And also, how do I avoid the situation in which I cause all these mistakes? So this cable is whack as hell, dude. At least it doesn't show in the stream, but on my actual tablet, you get a lot of like you get a lot of dirty pixels. I think that's what they're called. But anyway, yeah, a lot of my earlier life was with the digital tablet was just me exploring just the painting tools, and also like just being able to take advantage of the medium. So a big advantage with acrylic paint over something like watercolor is, oh, I made a mistake, I'm just going to paint right over that shit. And the same thing is with digital art. It's just like you gotta recognize that it's digital art, and you gotta be like, okay, so what kind of things can I use in order to just take advantage of the fact that it's like, okay, so what pops out to you when you think about digital art? So let's just deconstruct it, right? You know what? You know, I'm gonna just use this canvas. Why not? Because I don't really like any of these. Yeah, we're just gonna get this. Do this real quick. Hide that shit. Hide your mistakes. Don't hide your mistakes. Always hit your mistakes head on. Alright. So let's just get this out of the way, right? I'll use purple because purple is the most goated color. The fuck is digital art? I'll use a pen. So let's think about the first word, digital. What do you think when you think of digital, right? Let's just get some ideas out there. Well, for me, digital art entails, what do you say? Industrialization. I think that's the first word that comes into mind. That's a very small letter, or that's a very small. All right, anime boobs, big thighs, sure. Oh, we're really getting the blood pumping there. Maybe not to the head, but it's a different kind of head. You know what I'm saying? All right, no, stop. Fuck. But this is not the word I needed to say after that. Reproduction, basically industrialization. So, yeah, technology, progress, that's very good. Yeah, I'm gonna include all these words. These are good words. But, you know what this all boils down to? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. But to an extent, this is true. But what I mean is infinite copies. Right. So what does infinite copies mean? Infinite copies allows for quick adjustments. Allows for, more experimentation. Not naming your layers, that's a big part of it. So, what does quick adjustments mean? Like, imagine you get a picture of Togepi here, right? And you are looking at the first drawing, and you're like, oh, wait a second, like, I think Togepi's a lot closer than, what the it's like doing a dive bomb. It's like, woo! Woo! But, you're looking at this piece and you're like, oh, like, what can I do to, make this more zoomed out? And with a traditional medium, you have to wait for the shit to dry, right? As soon as you make it. That takes time. As opposed to technology, which allows you to create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Togepis, all with different properties. So maybe this one is more zoomed out, but then you don't like how zoomed out it is. So you look at this one, you're like, oh, let's get this picture. Let's just, you know, have like a good equalizer, the good between this picture and this picture. But not even that. It goes as far as to every time, like, let me just get one of, this is what I'm working on right now. But let's just say, like, oh, I don't really like the way that I colored the tube. Well, with an acrylic painting, look how many acrylic paintings I can replicate just by doing this. Alright, okay, you can't see the window, but I did turn on the hue thing. So, 1. I changed the hue by 1. Alright, let's change the hue by another 1. That's 2 acrylic paintings, which both should have taken at least double the time that it took for this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You get the point. That's basically all I wanted to say. Digital art allows for infinite copies. So, that's what I was thinking, right? Take advantage of the medium that's given to you and just experiment, because I feel like I can always go back and forth with different art pieces. So this was me drawing one of my smoothies, which are goated, by the way. I'm sure y'all on my Discord server know that. Okay. But since I made it this far into my... Okay, yeah, here we go. This was another one that I wanted to show you. This is another example of like 2 acrylic paintings which should take double the time, but it didn't, because all I did was click, alt, drag. Like, where is it? Hey, here we go. Wait, hello. Oh, is it because it's... Alright, well, I don't know what's up with that, but, you know, I made one piece and I was, you know, just looking at it. I was thinking about, how can I make this look different? And already, what would have been one traditional piece is already transformed into 2. And at the same time, I got double the progress. I was just like, alright, so this is how I would normally shade it, right? But then I go over here and I'm like, okay, so like, you know, how can I make the colors look nicer? How can I take advantage of the filters? Because for this shirt, I was, oh, that's why it didn't work before. Alright. But for this one, I was exclusively using, layer, what do you call it? Effects. Is that what they're called? Filters. Because, you know, I'm new to digital art, so it's like, you know, what kind of tools does digital art give you? It's right here. It's like, you got all these filters, you got multiply, you got color burn, linear burn, screen, opacity, all that stuff, right? You gotta take advantage of it. That was me in my early stages, at least. Alright. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. What's that word in English? The calf muscle to the ribeye. This is the tasty shit, alright? How does someone go about creating style? So, why don't we quickly define style, shall we? Alright, give me a second. Let's create a new canvas here so I can draw. Flip that. Let's see. Make this a little bit thicker, right? So you're probably asking yourself, what the fuck is this, right? So, as I said before, if you want style, you gotta look at the world. You gotta look at the world itself. Be like, all right, yeah, this is a nice little chocolate chip cookie up in earth. One's perception of the world, in my opinion, creates style, because once you interpret that, run that through the machines in your brain, then that will come into your technical ability. I think a lot of, what someone draws tells me about how they interpret or how they view the world. So I drew this Megamind in like, how many seconds was that? Like, let's give it like a good 30 seconds, right? And I drew this shit on impulse from one reference image that I found on knowyourmeme.com. Can I copy this right now? Let's try to get that in. What the hell was that? Oh, there we go. I looked at this on Google Images and I just drew it. And even then, you can look at like the differences of like the drawing. You can kind of think about like, what kind of things did I do to have like my own spin on it. Well, first of all, mine's a bit more like kind of angular. It kind of falls down, as you can see. Wait a second. I almost cut that. Very noticeably, the eyes are bigger. The eyebrows are very close in proximity to, his the eyes are very close to his eyelashes compared to something like this. It's just how I see the world, from my perspective. And the reason why, you might be asking yourself, like, oh, it's okay, so like, how does just looking at stuff from the world lead you to think that everything looks like, triangular, very angular kind of face, big ass fucking eyes, eyelashes which kind of wrap around the eyes, kind of like a bit of like a snake to an arm? Well, in my past, like the reason I spent, how long is this stream? I spent a good large amount of my time explaining my past, just for the sole reason of saying that I've been drawing a lot of, paintings, characters. I've been looking at different references from different angles, and I've been choosing the kind of references that I like to draw. And in order to fully identify with a reference picture that you really like, you really gotta, you just gotta look at it. You gotta look at it and be like, okay, so what do I like about this style that makes me so connected, to this piece? And something you get from one, let me try to get the picture, or that one's pretty good too. Wow, whoopsie daisy. Where is this? I guess it's this. Something you get from one artist, just like from one artist, can transfer to the next, can transfer to the next, can transfer all the way to what's my most recent digital art painting? Well, I guess on tablet it would be the Violet one. Let me just pull it up. Alright, but you get the point, right? Basically, everything that I've done before has led up to, I guess, this. So if you want to develop style, you just gotta do it, right? You just gotta keep drawing stuff. You just gotta keep drawing shit. Now let's say you kind of... Here's the thing about the world that we live in right now, right? You can look at yourself and be like, this isn't, you know, like some things are just some things are just meant to be, quote unquote, is what we used to say. But now we're just like, reject monk, right? So how does one choose to reject monk? How does one look at their own style and think, okay, but I don't want to draw like this? Or maybe they are just a beginner artist and they don't know exactly how to communicate, you know, their lines. This is a problem that plagues both experienced artists and beginner artists alike. And give me a second. Perfect. So, alright, what was I saying? Rejecting monk. This is a perfect song to go with this, actually. So, here's the thing. I really like... I had this. Ace Attorney. And I really like how it's just... If you look at this piece, it's just so... There's something about it, it's just so... It's so simple, but it's very... You know, it communicates a lot about every single one of their characters, and you're just like... I really identify with this picture because it's just really cute, really simple, plain. It's very hits you where it needs to, and it doesn't try to like get around you with like bullshit fluff. So that's kind of what I wanted to adapt to my style, because for one, I didn't start off as a character painter. Obviously, you saw like my traditional art before. I never draw like a human being in my life. So, when I first approached official, real character illustration, right? I'd always look to my most favorite pictures, and I would always study off their style, right? Studying off their style in like... Now we know how my style developed, right? But how did someone else develop their style? So in order to do that, we gotta look at the world we gotta look at the world in their eyes. And the only way you can do that is by getting a piece of art that you really like from a different artist and being like, okay, you gotta get like a basic scope of anatomy and that stuff and whatnot in order to tell yourself, so this is how he bends the rules, or she, they. This is how they bend the rules. We got the face over here, right? But then a lot of what different people styles kind of diverge is they get the concept of the circle. What I personally do is I always ring like a little bit of a eye line in the middle as like a default perspective, and then I would always curve it down depending on, you know, what the picture entails, right? Something like this. So you gotta look at this. You just gotta think like, okay, so here's how they chose to draw the picture. They had this, the eye line is right here. It might be different from the way I do it, but for now let's just think about the perspective. Like we're not thinking about how we do it. We're thinking about how they did it. Because if you want to keep thinking about how you did it, then you can keep the same style that you just wanted to change like 3 seconds ago. But we're not looking at how we wanted to do it. We are looking at how they did it. So immediately what I noticed here is that the chin area goes down here. It's like not that much further past the circle. Although you want to keep doing this in and out of time because you will realize like smaller details, like so the lip area kind of like protrudes out a little bit here. This is how you do style deconstruction, in my opinion. You want to be like, how big is the nose in proportion to the eyes?
Now look at how the mouth wraps around this base circle for the face that you got here, right? Also, something like minute details, like how far the tip of the mouth goes in relation to the eye, because that's a lot of things you're going to notice about art is if you look at a basic human face, you'll know that the lips actually shouldn't go that far off. Do I got a good reference I can use? Oh, even like this is the same. This is not the same. It's a different artist, but it's the same character. Look at how the middle of the eye or the end of the mouth doesn't even go past the middle of the eye. But for this picture, it's like going like freaking straight out, because if you look at it from head on, it would look like this. And the reason why that was done was just because of the sole fact to emphasize the big ass smile that goes all the way up there, out there. Trying to get like the original. Okay, well that's a little bit better. See? Assuming that the middle of the eye was just like right here, right? That's pretty damn far. Alright, and after that, you kind of identify all the things that you liked about the art, and then you can move on to another piece. So let's just go to something else that I did. Anything in here? Draw all this from like imagination, which you shouldn't. Okay, so this I took from a concept made by, or I don't know if he made it, but Ethan Becker really preaches this kind of style. Like I remember this was like a still from one of his videos. I don't remember exactly where, but he decided, like, here's his style, right? He communicates how he sees the world by dividing people's like general structure just through shape, like pure shapes. And the reason why he does pure shapes is because he's an animator, right? That's his style. You see where this kind of comes full circle. Also, another thing that I read from his videos was that he got lines, story color. Yeah, that's cool and shit. Do I have a reference for all these? Surely I do. Okay, I do. So I was just looking at all these people, right? I was just trying to do things the way that Ethan Becker, the man himself, the fucking ultimate critique would. You know, don't you ever draw art like Ethan Becker. Actually, no, you should. And I'm about to show you exactly how. Does that make sense? Then you turn off the reference picture and you're kind of like, oh, so this is how I chose to separate all these pieces. And even someone like me, more of a illustrator, graphic designer, can take a lot from someone who's worked in the animation industry like Ethan Becker, because he knows how to take a picture, instantly look at it and be like, okay, so this is the story. Bam. Hopefully that makes sense. So that was me studying from something that Ethan Becker, the father himself, taught me online. And here's another guy I like to bring up a lot. His name is Saito Naoki. Or if you're an American, Saoki Naito. First name, last name, whatever, good shit. This was one of the pieces he did for, I can't remember if he's a Pokemon card artist. But he is also someone like me who didn't originally come from the character illustrating industry. Yeah, I think he started from drawing monsters or some shit. And, you know, this is his style now. I'm gonna be frank, I don't know how drawing monsters kind of taught him all the things that he needed to get here, like about character art, but you kind of get like, oh, okay, so some of these shades you can realize are just simple brush strokes throughout. Like, they're not like blended, like let's say I get a watercolor brush here and then I kind of blend it. A lot of shadows are done like this, you guys would know, but not this. This is just that's the shadow. And at parts I really respected that, so I tried to adapt that into my own style. But also what I really wanted to learn here was creating basic, like, all right, we got a human face, right? Like, let's just quickly draw one up right now. You got the big ass cranium. You got the eye lines here. And then you got the eyes. Very small. Got the nose. You got the mouth. And you got the chin. Right? How does one go from these rules into an anime character with like freaking eyes that go like freaking all the way up here? Okay, that was a little bit extreme. But you know what I'm saying, right? Them eyes are fucking big. Especially compared to this. So, I spend a lot of my time drawing from real life. So, you're not gonna find this shit in real life. Alright. Time for a deep lesson between you and me, alright? Look at me straight in the eye. Your eyes aren't real. They're just not. You will never draw your anime wives the way that you want to because they're not in real life. So what's the next best thing you can do? You can look at the way that other artists have done it before, because anime art has evolved from way back. I don't know, like, I think I did a presentation on postmodernism in Japan, and I started with like manga, and from what I remember, anime style started from like, it was either like Astro Boy or like just some dumbass cartoon from World War II that we really don't have to get into. And it started all the way back then, and it evolved into the way that it is now. You just gotta look at artists, you gotta be like, so why did they choose to do the things that they did? And this is the beautiful thing about art, is that you can choose to listen to different people that you want to. Let me get a good artist. This guy has made art for stuff in 2020. There we go. I love this. And despite that, the hell? Alright, despite that, look how retro his style is. Like, this is some shit that you'll find like this is like an evolution of like the Inuyasha art style, wouldn't you say? And he does this in 2020. And the reason why I showed you this is because you can literally look at progression and be like, nah, fuck that, go back. So you can either follow this current style, or you can go back and follow a different style. It's never going to find like one best peak, which is why I like to say that drawing anime faces is its own form of art. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, hope you have a good night. Are you still in Boston? It's probably 12 o'clock there, right? So yeah, it'd be around the time that normal people would fall asleep. Normal people being the key word. I can't wait to go to Boston when I'm in. I think in September I'll be in Boston. So yeah, get hyped for that. Yeah, Dartmouth, you know, I say that I'm in Boston, but I really live in like Medford. It's not Boston, but I mean, it's close enough to Boston. So, after you've developed enough of a style, you'll be able to start creating poses from your own reference, or so from your own like imagination. But that's only if you have collected enough information. Like, let's just say like, alright, I want to start drawing dynamic poses, right? How the hell do I do it? If you ever find yourself struggling with this, don't forget to go back into the fundamentals. Go back, like freaking look at it like a time lapse of your life and be like, from what have I studied from? Have I studied enough other people's work to see like what they have done? Have I studied enough anatomy to get like a basic structure and rule set that can teach me that, okay, this works and this should not work? And also, do I have enough of like just looking at other people's work, just being like, oh, why is he holding a chair? Being like, is this like, how do I say it? I feel like my voice is really dying. Is this allowed, right? And not only can you say like, is this technically allowed, but also you can be like, okay, so I'm gonna bend the rules a little bit, like kind of like what you saw with the Edgeworth picture, where his mouth kind of like extended way past his like eyes, and it was kind of just like, it shouldn't work, but it does. See, that's why it's called art. And if you wanna, that's like a more of an advanced technique, but that can only be built once you establish like the basic rules, alright? So now let's go back to the artboard where I explain why you have no style. Alright, now you're telling me like, yeah, I have no style, the people are better than me. Have you tried? Let's look at what makes up style, right? Number one, that's too thick. Looked at enough references. Now, looking at enough references, this includes everything we said about studying style, discovering my own style, and I know I have the handwriting of a fucking doctor, but bear with me here. And also establishing basic rules. And like what you said before, advanced technique is bending those rules for or to your will. Alright, number two. Really, it just boils down to number one, if I'm being honest. Huh. But I guess we can also explain, like, you have to look at enough references, but also not look at too many references. Actually, that's not true. It's not looking at too many references. It's more so just exclusively copying from others. This is just tracing and tracing with no spin. If that's how you want to art, then, you know, be my guest. But a lot of people just want to have like their own independent style that they can say, I made this. And you can't do that if you only trace other people's artwork and study off of their artwork exclusively and do the things that they do. Because what happens then is you'll just become a shadow of a popular artist. And do you really want to be the guy who lives down here? Do you really want to do that? I don't think so. This is really the king of everything, but also 3, gotten enough experience. This is just simple. This is general age, just living life and understanding the way that, you know, your eye and your brain gets older. You are able to look at the world in different ways, abstract different things, create different kinds of art. You can look at it like a person, just, I don't know, just whatever they're doing. I just drew this. I just drew these lines out of like pure randomness. I don't know how that happened. Age, drawing, like this is the technical skill. And then lastly, what other? I guess industry counts. Because if you're pushed at an industrial level, then there's going to be different things that you need to know, right? Like the Ethan Becker thing that I showed, for example, how he kind of got in like a huge ass body and he was just breaking it down into just quick shapes for like industry purposes, like animation. And that's it, pretty much. In my opinion, that's what style is. Right. So, with that being said, let's begin to wrap things up a little bit. I think I have like more of a better way to explain, style. So what is style? In my opinion, it's the way that someone chooses to perceive the world. Perceive meaning all 5 senses. Yes, even taste. You know the 5 senses. I don't have to write that shit for you. All 5 senses, right? How your relationship with the world builds your hand to draw, different things. This world, this is a fucking cheesy ass anime quote, but this world is too complex. So what do us measly monkeys do? We simplify. And now this word right here, simplify, since it's very, person dependent, is what kind of defines how someone chooses to do something, aka how someone chooses to draw something, aka what their style is. Right? But not only that, like I said, the relationship between the world and us also includes the experience that we've had living here. This kind of separates the people who kind of just do like big, thick line art to people who have grown to become more patient, more precise with their lining. Like people who need to do this versus someone who just does this, someone who just does this, someone who just does this. You know what I'm saying? So, now that we know what style is, ask yourself this and really write it down, because you will find it. What's your experience with art? Like, why did you do it? Why did you start? Starting, current, and dreams all include this question. What's your experience with art? Now, you also have what's your experience with art, but it's also what do you identify with? This separates kind of like anime art, real art, traditional, aka still life. What else is there? Like even in the context of like these, you can like really branch them out. Like in anime, I guess there's like, retro style, modern, I don't know, Demon Slayer, Dragon Ball, like anime specific. Like you can identify with a person's specific art style, right? But instead of stealing that style, we're going to make this the next question. How do you choose? We're going to combine experience with art and what you identify with art, and how do you choose to represent that? For example, let's say you really like Dragon Ball and you're like, oh, I love Akira Toriyama's like freaking Goku's. How does he draw Goku again? Like this? I don't know, like something like that, right? Ooh, that's a big ass head, bro. Alright, we're nearing the summit of this, so I think I'm gonna... One last, this should be a good ass song. Alright. We're gonna slowly wrap things up. Let's say you really like Akira Toriyama's work and you're like, oh, wait a second. Like, he doesn't make, like, if only he did this, if that's what you're asking yourself, if only he did this, then do it. Because that would be your style. It'd be inspired off of Akira Toriyama. Like, maybe you like Akira Toriyama's work, but you don't like how his, you want to give him, like, thicker lines. Or maybe you want to just do no lines at all. That helps establish a style. And to avoid, to differentiate your style and copying, you gotta do this. When you study a different artist, you gotta do this with every single artist that you just love, right? Because ultimately, if you spend enough time with art that you identify with, and you experience that art, and you're just like, oh, this is like, this shit is busting, right? Eventually, all of what you like from those artists, you're going to take different things. You're going to look at this artist at a different way after you look at this artist. And when you look at this artist, maybe you don't want to look at their work anymore because you realize that the way they choose to do things is much better. This is what makes an art journey. And, you know, how are you going to have an art journey with no style? I rest my case. That's going to be, I'm going to close off with that. Had a lot of fun for this stream. I think what I'll do now is, well, first of all, I gotta go eat lunch, and then after I eat lunch, I'm gonna go work out for a bit. So if you weren't here for the beginning of the stream, all of what I just said now is going to be included inside. It's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a VOD anymore. Well, I mean, obviously I want to have the VOD of the stream. Goodbye, Togepi. I want to have the VOD of the stream, but I'm going to get everything I said today, and instead of making it like a clip, kind of like video, I'm going to make it more structured, and I'm going to make an actual video off of it. So, like, basically everything I said there was just like a, you know, kind of me describing the scene or the script for my work. So you can look forward to that. Well, might as well show you some iPad pictures, iPad drawings I was doing while. Alright, sneak peek with this one. What else do I got? Couple of poses. Yeah, I'm hungry as fuck. Got some eyes. yeah, we're just gonna keep improving. I'm gonna go eat. I didn't eat much breakfast. I had a coffee. That's about it. Feel thy stomach. Feel thy stomach. I'm also gonna plan to do couple like let me see, gaming streams, cause I actually got a emulator for a Switch. All right, I don't think I'm gonna get popular for Nintendo to give a shit anyway. Whatever, fuck you. I'm gonna use emulators all I want, bitch. And I'm gonna play this one game that I really want to play, cause capture cards are too expensive. I already bought my own Switch. But first of all, my cousin has that currently, and second of all, bro, you really gonna fucking... yeah. But look forward to some fun gameplay, like with voices and such. I'm gonna play The Great Ace Attorney on stream sometime when I can. Obviously I have to find a ROM for that, but I can't wait to play that. Apparently it's one of the best Ace Attorney games in the series. Unfortunately, there are British people in this. British? I didn't mean that to be racist. British? Wait. Oh, British people, and I can't do a British accent. That's your trigger warning. But you know, I'll try my best. But yeah, that's about it for this stream. Hope you enjoyed. I'm sure you follow me on all my platforms, you better. Gotta do the cliche, what is it? The freaking YouTube shill. Please like, comment, and subscribe! Don't do that. I mean, I guess do it if you care, but yeah, honestly, I kind of gave up on like doing like the whole social media shit. Like the more I realized, like, dude, I don't know, social media is kind of cringe, if I'm being real. It's pretty hard. And I'd rather, you know, be a better artist than a better social media person. But yeah, glad you guys liked the video. The movie. See you in the next one. Goodbye. Yeah, honestly, I just want to get better at art, bro. I don't give a shit about no fucking algorithm. I'm not gonna let a robot tell me whether or not I can draw. Fuck that. Alright, see ya.